Welcome to the final part of our Kingdom Hearts 3 discussion. I was joined by Hero, and we were talking about everything from the Keyblade Graveyard onwards. So there will be spoilers ahead. If you haven't seen the first two parts, I highly recommend you watch both of them first. Enjoy.
Yeah, the whole endgame. So first we
Endgame.
start off with like little Aqua Boss. You have all this dramatic music going on. This is kind of the main plot point we knew about. Was that hey, Aqua, she was in the darkness too long and got to her.
We're going to figure out how to save her and everything like that.
So that point was okay.
Yeah, I mean, the Aqua boss fight itself is fine. I did find it weird that you go to again, just like you did with Radiant Garden and with the Mysterious Tower, you go to Destiny Island, but you don't actually get to explore any of Destiny Island. It's just for one cutscene, where he just happens to find the blooming key from Ericus's key that allows him to get to the World of Darkness. He's just there. And but I quite like that. I like that you get to play as Riku, and I like that Sora shows up and they have I feel like it's a reference to the end of Kingdom Hearts 2 where their Keyblades kind of combine and make the giant one.
Oh, like the thing you see with Riku and Sora, that was a 3D thing. That was Dream Drop Distance.
Was it Dream Drop Distance? I couldn't remember.
Yeah, because whenever you do your reality shift, you get the combined Keyblade.
Oh, okay. So
it was
I
the
played
one in
this.
World That Never Was.
Oh, okay, yeah, it's sort of coming back to me now. Well, I like that they did that and made that reference for this fight against Aqua.
I loosely remembered it.
So, you have the Aqua fight, and that's pretty alright, and then you go to the Land of Departure to get Ventus back. And you have
Aqua.
Yeah, and you get to play as Aqua and fight Vanitas, and that was really cool as well. I was really happy that you got to play as Aqua. I hate how that
your little revenge part.
Yeah, although I hate how that fight ends.
One part that threw me off, I randomly looked behind me during the fight. Sora, Donald, and Goofy are just standing there.
Yeah, well they're trying. I
think Sora slams on it once, but then besides that, they're just standing there. So that was fun. I do and when you eventually save Ventus in that, I like how Ven has a little withdrawal before he shakes Sora's hand.
Yeah.
He's whoa, you're Vanitas, dude. I don't like you. But then it's no. Oh yeah, you're the one who's held onto my heart for how long? I'll accept you. Yeah, no, the Ventus Sora interactions are really nice. What just bugs me is, and this bugs me in the Keyblade Graveyard significantly, is how you're beating the shit out of Vanitas perfectly fine as Aqua, and then he tries to attack Ventus. And so the first time he shoots the barrier and it makes a crack, and he goes to do it a second time, and Aqua jumps in the way, but instead of trying to deflect the attack or anything like that, she just jumps in, puts her hands out, takes it straight on, and then that's it. She's knocked out. Mm-hmm. And then Vanitas is about to kill her, and it's only because Ventus then wakes up that and can come in and save the day. It just felt really forced as a way to have a dramatic Ventus saving the day moment. Oh, if you're talking about plot being forced. Ooh.
Oh no, don't worry. We'll get to that. I've got I've got a lot to say with the Keyblade Graveyard and everything that happens there.
Okay, so
do we want to go over all of the intermittent story stuff before we talk about the Keyblade Graveyard, because it's kind of when it all comes together?
And what happens there? You get Kairi talking.
Yeah, Kairi talking to Axel, and Axel having Shion flashbacks, but not knowing why. There's the whole subplot about another traitor in the organization. With first you think Vexen's joined the bad guys, and then you find out that Vexen actually is plotting to make replicas for the good guys, and then he gets Demyx involved, and then you find out that it's all Sykes who's been the mastermind, and he's been trying to bring down the organization from the inside. And there's also the stuff with he talks when fucking Zenmus talks to Marluxia and Larxene and Luxord and Demyx, and hints that the reason they're there is because they know about
they're people from the previous generation of Keyblades wielders, and then they're just like, it never gets brought up again. That bugged the fuck out.
This whole plot goes everywhere, dude. If we go into the good old meat of the Keyblade graveyard, first thing is everyone dies.
Oh fuck! Like the big fight with all the Heartless is really cool. I like all the Heartless show up. You have the train mountain thing again, and all this, and then you get the Terranaut reveal, which kind of annoyed me because I felt like a good twist in this game would have been that Aqua ends up being on the bad guy's side and Terra ends up having his body back and being on the good guy's side. But you're led to think it's the other way around throughout the whole game. But actually, no. It's just they're like, oh, maybe Terra's on the bad guy's side. No plot twist. He just is. he is. He's the 13th member. It's not a twist. It's not a reveal. He just shows up and is there, and
it's a thing.
It's a thing, and then you get the actual worst cutscene in this entire game,
where people die, and then it's like, whoa, I'm dead. And then you run into yourself 100 times.
Not even for. I don't want to go. I want to talk about this cutscene because it pisses me off so much. Like, all of these people have been training for this moment to fight the organization, and it starts off okay. I can justify them seeing Terra, and Ventus doesn't know that Terra got taken over by Xehanort. And so runs over there to go see him, and Aqua's very cautious, and then it's revealed to be Terranaut, and then Terra one-shots Ventus out of nowhere. Even though Ventus then just gets taken out for the rest of this. Like, I can justify it because it just happens out of nowhere, no one was expecting it. And then Aqua fighting Terra very briefly, and Sora trying to, and Terranaut blasting them off, I can deal with that. And it's then when he runs towards Axel and Kairi, and Axel jumps in the way. Axel does the right thing. He jumps in the way to try and fight off and gets sent Dragon Ball Z style through 3 rocks because he's not strong enough. But then he runs at Kairi, and Kairi does fuck all to try and defend herself. And then
that's Kairi throughout this whole series, dude.
It's fucking... but it's like, I can justify it in previous games where she's not a combat person, not training. She's in this game, she's been training the entire game to fight. And she doesn't get her Keyblade out once. And Sora jumps in the way to save her.
I want to remind you, they even made it clear that they hyperbolic time chambered her, where time didn't matter when they trained. So, okay, they should be at the same level as Sora and company now.
They should be. And, Sora runs in the way. And again, he pulls the same bullshit that Aqua did in the previous scene, but worse. Where he doesn't even attempt to get his Keyblade out to defend like Axel did. He, hugs her. You gotta kill me to kill her sort of thing. Where it's he doesn't give a shit if he kills you.
No, it's not a point that should be there.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't. And then Goofy and Donald do the best thing in this whole scene. Where Goofy actually defends, and then Donald pulls off the amazing ultra forbidden magic.
I also want you to know, I did the research on Zeta Flare. No one in the Final Fantasy franchise can do it, not even a summon. Donald is the only one in the Square Enix series who can do it. I think it's canonically 7 million times stronger than Fire or something like that. Donald Duck is the only one in the Square Enix series that can pull off Zeta Flare.
He's the greatest mage in the entire canon. I love that. Even if it's just almost trying to be a callback to the Goofy sacrifice scene in Kingdom Hearts 2. It's so amazing how Donald pulls this off. Goofy's like, Donald, no!
Yeah, and that line's so stupid. It's like, Donald, no!
And then a massive beam just takes the main villain just completely out of it. Actually destroys him and sends him off into the distance. And then Donald dies.
Then Donald dies, and then everyone dies.
Yeah.
And then
things just derail from there. Fake Riku shows up. Sora just stands there fucking doing nothing. At least Aqua goes over to Ventus, Kairi and Riku go over to Axel, Mickey and Goofy go over to Donald to see if they're okay. Sora stands there like an idiot.
And then he cries. It's like, no, my
then he
friends do my power.
And then they're like, oh, fine, Aqua, Riku both step up because they're Keyblade masters, tell the others to defend the people who are taken out. We'll fight this giant vortex of Heartless. And then, like, as soon as it's about to attack, fucking Aqua's just like, actually, you know what, I give up. Mm-hmm. Like, the three of them are standing there ready to take this on, and this, like, just as soon as it gets a little bit bigger, Aqua's just kind of, she doesn't even attempt to fight, she just gives up. Gets killed.
A bit too much for me.
Yeah, she gets killed, which gets Ventus killed, and then Axel and Kairi get killed, and Kairi again does nothing to defend it, and Riku is the only one who actually does what they came here to do.
The only one that made sense. Riku's like, okay, I gotta protect my friends, and that is like, okay, good job, Riku, good job keeping up your good work.
Yeah, Riku's the only competent member of this. Riku and Axel. Axel's just not strong enough to deal with it. I can deal with that. Aqua gives up, Ventus gets taken out, Kairi does fuck all, Sora does fuck all. Riku actually slaps some sense into Sora and then sacrifices himself to attempt to save Sora. And Sora
via Piccolo Gohan.
Yeah, and then Sora just wakes up in the final world.
The final world. Stupidest name, by the way. Stupidest name. The place looks cool. I won't lie about that. But the final world.
I don't know.
End of the world. The world that never was. The final world.
It's Nomura cheese, but I like it. It is the final world you go to before you die.
It feels like there's no point in the Karathi being advertised.
That
doesn't seem like it needs to be there. Because, like, the main thing is, if you look at the mobile games, it's like, hey, he takes care of the Keyblade wielder or whatever.
Yeah.
But there's nothing for him.
I mean, that's a problem with all of the Key content. It just kind of shows up and is implied. So, like, this is the problem with Key and the fact that Key, Union Cross, whatever you want to call it, isn't finished. Because stuff from Union Cross gets referenced in this game, but stuff that hasn't happened in Union Cross yet. Like, the Kirathi at the end of the game is implied to be Ventus's Kirathi. Because, or potentially it's Ventus's Kirathi because it shows up again at the end and gives him that big hug. And he talks about how his master is off making new friends and all stuff like that, and gives Kirathi's just stuck here. So, like, I can see how it could be Ventus's and all this, but because Union Cross isn't finished yet and we don't know what happened to any of these characters, we have no idea why this Kirathi is here.
Ven's a murderer, dude. That's why.
Yeah.
but like, I know I understand the theory for people because you have to remember Vanitas used to be all the darkness in Ven's heart.
Yeah.
But like, anyways, getting way too off topic. This whole part's like a clusterfuck. Like, in the final world, you get the chance to talk to a soul. Did you talk to the soul or no?
Yeah, I did. I talked to the female soul. Yeah.
I forgot. Like, what's the name she's supposed to say? Like, what's the intended name? I didn't.
So the theory is, again, theory-wise this time, that the person whose name she says is Ventus. That's who she says.
Like, and who's the girl, then?
The girl is implied to be, again, this mysterious girl that everyone else keeps bringing up throughout the whole game. Because, Axel and Sykes are like, oh, we went in there to go visit her and we became apprentices, and then one day she disappeared. And
I thought they were just talking about Xion.
No, because this is all before they became nobodies. And Ansem as well is like this. Ansem is going, when Ansem gets, Ansem the Wise, not to make that confusing, and he's like, what did you do with the girl? Etc. Blah blah blah. I mean, she's the only unaccounted for girl. At first, I thought it could be Kairi, but then I thought that doesn't make sense because Axel's now reunited with Kairi, and so I was like, well, this is the only unconfirmed girl. And the general theory is that it's Ava, the fifth foreteller, and the only foreteller we don't see in the epilogue of this game.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
So the theory is that because she also does kind of fight in the Keyblade War, but she's also the only one of the foretellers who knows what the Master of Masters' plan was, because Luxu tells her in Kingdom Hearts Key. So the idea is that she and Luxu have both been body swapping, essentially, this whole time. And then Ava ended up in Radiant Garden, and then somehow died there, I guess.
Yeah.
We still don't know the specifics
Who
of this. And
knows?
that's another problem. That Kingdom Hearts 3 is meant to be the game that answers everything, and it just
But it's
can't resist
so
adding
many
bullshit.
more. It's like, Nomura, you gotta stop.
You gotta stop. This is the end game, not the beginning of the next game. It's so aggravating. But that's the theory. The theory is that it's Ava, and Ventus is the person who she is talking about. Yeah.
And then you get your final little bit of the main story that, like, hey, you get the Starlight Keyblade, and, like, you get the blonde-haired dude. Not blonde, silver-haired dude. And he's like, oh, he usually called the Keyblades. And then you get I don't know if they're real usernames.
No. But before that, you have the terrible Lich fight. That's just fucking annoying. Like, this part makes no sense because it's like Sora dies and his spirit ends up in the final world, but then he goes back. He goes back to that same scene where he's about to die again, but this time he doesn't die, and only him and Jiminy Cricket survive. But they get blasted all the way to fucking Hercules. And for whatever reason, everyone else's spirit is in a different world. Like, Riku's spirit is in Hercules, and Aqua's spirit is in Frozen, I think. I can't remember.
It's exactly something like that. It's whatever. The main thing is also Jiminy survives.
Yeah, Jiminy survives.
Jiminy survives. This is
one
also
of three.
Jiminy's biggest plot point in the whole series. This is also the game Jiminy has definitely talked the most.
Oh yeah, it is. Maybe recoded because the whole point of that is going into his book. But I mean, I've not played Recoded. It's such a non-game. And I guess Dream Drop Distance because you go to Pinocchio World, so he's just a character there.
Yeah.
But no, yeah. I just didn't like this Lich fight. I thought it was a cool idea at first, but then
I thought,
you
like,
just
the first
fight.
one was okay, but then later on it gets worse and worse. Tangled was especially the worst. You have to remember the forest.
Tangled is awful. That swamp is just a nightmare. It's the only actual part of the game where I didn't get the map was that part of the Tangled world because I just didn't find the chest, so couldn't do anything about that. And then it's such a big area.
But I'm pretty sure the maps don't carry over. I don't remember though. I don't remember if I did see the location.
It wouldn't surprise me if it didn't, but that area is just so big and it just runs away from you that it's aggravating.
Yeah, even if you have the map, you don't know where the Lich is.
Yeah, and it's just the same. He doesn't change his pattern or anything like that. It's just the same fight 7 times in a row.
Yeah.
In a slightly different location and slightly different minor enemy. I think Monsters was
one of the worst because the Lich disappears eventually.
And
then you have to defeat the Heartless Horde, and then he comes back. But like, it's so stupid.
It's just really dumb and long, and then you find out that somehow the reason Sora managed to survive is that Kairi managed to survive. Kairi was the only one from them that survived the initial blast, and it's her will that kept Sora's spirit here. And it's like,
again,
what?
It's all bullshit. It's all bullshit.
They don't explain it. Like, I had to like sort of self-justify it by being like, well, she's one of these 7 maidens of light that, again, they were implying throughout the whole game, but only actually had 3 fucking princesses in the game. So they're like, oh, there's 7 new lights. Anna, Elsa, Rapunzel, maybe Kairi, and then 3 others we're not going to talk about.
Hey, but do you want to talk about the worst boss rush in the whole series? Okay, so if we go down, like, route order, I'm pretty sure how they intended in the first place. You joined Riku first. You beat Zigbar. No, you don't beat Zigbar. He disappears.
Well, no, we got to talk about the actual Nier Automata parody Keyblade flying thing and all the bullshit, because I'm still not done complaining about the Keyblade graveyard.
Oh yeah,
and the fact that after rescuing everyone's spirit and being reunited with Kairi, they've apparently time traveled back.
Oh yeah, dude,
to
time traveling is Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, but like, it doesn't make. Why are they time? There's no explanation. Like, at least they try to somehow justify the bullshit time traveling in Dream Drop Distance.
I thought of it like a Final Destination kind of deal, where it's like, hey, you can cheat your death, and it's like,
yeah, there's like no, like, it would be fine if everyone had died and had been brought back to life, and they've just ended up back here, and now they're like, let's do it again. Let's go for round 2. But actually, they've just gone back in time because Terranaut's back there again. being like, and then Ventus runs over again, and they repeat. And I almost thought, because I had after I beat the Lich, I saved and turned it off and came back the next day. I
And
almost
you thought it
thought
didn't
my
actually
save, yeah,
save.
and I was like, what the please no, I don't want to do this again. And then the wandering spirit or whatever it's called, that's actually Terra's armor, shows up, and I was expecting this to show up, but it shows up with no fanfare, and nothing has actually justified him appearing. Sora and co haven't done anything to notify Terra's spirit that his body is here.
What if this is another part in the Kingdom Hearts timeline where this is an alternate universe?
So
Add
we've
on
jumped
to the story.
We've jumped from the Kingdom Hearts 2 timeline to the Kingdom Hearts 2.5 Final Mix timeline.
Kingdom Hearts 2.8 timeline.
No, it's Final Mix.
I know,
is
Final
where...
Mix. I was making the joke that... No, 2.9 they joke about.
Yeah, 2.9 is the one they joke about at the beginning. All of the Hercules world is in 2.9. Kingdom Hearts 3 doesn't start till they get to Twilight Town. But no, because it's like the Wandering Spirit wasn't in the original Kingdom Hearts 2, but was added into Kingdom Hearts 2.5 Final Mix. Yeah. So they've jumped to that timeline. So now the Wandering Spirit is here.
Yeah,
and he can and he can just interfere, and it bugged me because my thought of how it was going to go is everyone would die except Sora, and then the Wandering Spirit would save Sora, and then you'd find out that that's Terra, and that would all lean back into everything, but it doesn't, and then the Wandering Spirit just saves them this time, and then you have then fake Riku shows up, and you have the Nier Automata parody with all the Keyblades and all the names. And I don't know if these are actual names of the people who played the mobile game, but I actually really hope it is, because that would be a really nice touch. It'd probably be like the best thing in the Keyblade graveyard. But it's just screamed the... Actually, have you played Nier Automata? Because I keep referencing it.
I started it. I haven't continued it, but I plan to get to it at some point.
So the credits of that game, like the final credits, are that scene from Kingdom Hearts. You have a bunch of... Anyone else who's beaten the game can join you during the credits minigame to help you beat the credits minigame, because the credits minigame is like a shooter, like Galaga.
Mm-hmm.
So anyone else who's played the game will join you as a little ship, and you'll see their name and everything like that pop up. And that was like a really cool way of everyone working together, and this is exactly the same thing.
Yeah, you keep on pressing triangle, you keep on going through each and every name. Are they... Yeah, like, if they're actual usernames, like, a lot of the usernames seem so stupid, as like, okay, these can't be real names.
It depends. I mean, they might be real names.
They might
be. The thing.
Anyways, the boss
yeah.
rush.
Alright,
Boss
rush.
rush.
Boss rush.
I'm pretty sure you're supposed to go and save Riku first. So,
yeah, that's what
you're
I did.
Zigbar, Riku replica. Zigbar disappears, Riku replica just joins Riku again.
It's
dies.
no, it's not that. So
like that.
Yeah, Zigbar died. Well, Zigbar jumps off the back of a cliff and is presumed to have died, and then Riku replica, because Riku has his own. Riku has the original Riku replica inside of him from Chain of Memories, and this is a new Riku replica that they've made Vexen's made specifically for this game, and the two of them end up. The original Riku replica ends up just forcing the spirit of the old one out of them, and then they both die, leaving the replica body left for Naminé, which is also just a thing that it never gets really justified or explained. They're like, oh yeah, we have to rescue Naminé. Good thing we now have a body for her. Sweet, we'll deal with that after all this is done.
Zigbar, and like you said, Zigbar's just gone.
Yeah.
Then you help Lee and Kairi.
No, it's not. It's not Lee and Kairi next. It's Mickey. You help Mickey fight Luxord, Marluxia, and
Larxene.
Oh, actually, we forgot one scene where Yen Sid shows up and saves everybody.
Oh, dude, Yen Sid!
Gandalf the White appears, blows the Heartless away.
He opens up Noah's Ark and is like, "Here you go."
Yeah, Donald and Goofy will stay behind to fight with him. Like I actually thought I was hoping he would pull out a Keyblade because he's meant to be a Keyblade master.
I was hoping to see like some stupid Keyblade armor on him. It was like,
yeah,
it's like it doesn't make sense, and it's like, ooh.
It's just really funny. But I liked that he appeared.
It's funny, I won't lie.
I just liked that Yen Sid showed up and did something. He got up out of that chair for the first time in 10 games and did something.
But Yeah, Luxord, Larxene, Marluxia, the fight's nothing really
Yeah,
plot-wise.
nothing. Luxord has a nice moment with Sora.
Yeah, it's like, let's play a game eventually. It's like, okay,
yeah, like
sure.
that's, and then Marluxia, because it really feels like Marluxia should have done more in this game.
Yeah.
Because he was like, he's in the intro scene, he's one of the main antagonists of the series.
And he's supposed to be related to Key.
Yeah, he's meant
So
to be
it's like-
related to Key. He's meant to be the strongest one out of them ones because he's actually part of the replacement foretellers in Union Cross. But he has a nothing story in this. It's implied that the only reason Larxene is there is because she's following Marluxia. But
Which is also weird from Ventus. You hear nothing about him because he is supposed to be one of the like replacement foretellers too.
Well, they don't.
You hear-
I don't think Marluxia and Larxene ever see Ventus.
No, like I'm saying, like Ventus in general in this whole game, you hear nothing.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, that's part of the wider problem that all of the Key stuff gets referenced but never dealt with in this game. So it almost shouldn't have been here.
But yeah, this
Like-
whole fight, it's nothing. Nothing
Yeah.
happens.
You defeat those three, and then Mickey chases after Zenmus. Who was
Next
there at
one
the
is Syax and Xion.
beginning. See, I did this in the other order. I did it the Terror one first. But yeah, then it's the Syax fight.
So, take care of Syax a little bit, and there's like a Xion kill Axel, damage him at least.
Mm.
Kyrie's taken away. Hey, she's relevant to the plot at
No,
least.
oh god,
We'll
no!
get-
We'll
We'll get to that soon.
I have questions
Trust
for
me,
this whole
there's
scene.
so much to say about Kyrie.
Like just this whole scene. Like Syax is there in berserk mode. You never actually find out that they discovered he was the traitor. So it's just implied that they figured they did something to him to make him want to fight. Xion is just there. There is no justification for why they decided to remake Xion of all people for their replica project.
It
like
doesn't make sense.
they remade Riku, which is fine because Riku was like the test replica. It's almost like Vexen was just like, oh, I've already got the blueprints for Riku and Xion, so I'm just going to reuse them, I guess. Like but they
it's
never
nice to have
explain
like this is the first big reunition of the three characters, Roxas, Axel, Wally, and Xion.
Yeah,
You get all
and
three back, and it's like cool.
But
And then you get Axel's Roxas's big moment. He's back, and it's like, hey guys, ready to kick some ass.
it's like there's no reason why Xion should have any memories if she's a new replica, but she does.
She does.
And that means she won't fight. She doesn't want to fight Axel and Sora. All right, I understand why Sora knows who Xion is because he has all of her previous memories and Roxas's memories, and then Axel sees her and remembers everything. But then it's like Axel again. I can justify him being taken out pretty quickly because he's brand new to being a Keyblade wielder, but Roxas then just appears. Like they've been hinting that they've been making Roxas throughout the whole game. With the Vexen and Demyx bringing the replica body over. Like, you have no reason for why this gets here. Like, you don't even see, I don't know, Ansem on a spaceship dropping the replica down of Roxas. It just falls from the sky.
Yeah, Roxas replica's just there, and like the question is like, how'd you get the heart from Sora, and what?
I mean, my thought is that they literally just dropped the replica, and then Roxas's heart inside Sora just jumped out at that moment, hit it, and then when he hit the floor, he was like already formed. But like, there's so much coincidental stuff. Like, what a perfect time to drop the Roxas replica into the battle. How do they do it without getting anyone there? How do they know it's going to reconnect with Sora at the perfect time?
See, the cutscenes in between each and every like boss in this boss rush, it breaks the flow so often. But like, I guess it's nice to have the story completed for characters, but even then, it's done so like half-heartedly.
It's nice to have Roxas back. It's just like, and it was going to happen. It just happened so. At least they'd been hinting about Roxas coming back, but his actual return is so rushed and half-hearted.
It's bad. It's real bad.
But Xion gets nothing, no build-up at all to her coming back. She's just now here. Almost like they ran out of time and were like, we have to have Xion somehow just throw her in.
They all hug and cry, and that's their main plot point.
Yeah, and then it's
which
done.
Which is real
then...
sad. We knew about most of the story in the first place because trailers went through everything with the last few.
Yeah. It did. We knew Roxas was coming back in that one
we knew
trailer.
Xion was there.
Yeah. And it's just like, God, why? Like, and nothing happens. And then, yeah, Kairi gets fucking kidnapped. At least she fights alongside Sora for that half a second before the cutscene kicks in. I want you to know,
plot-wise, she was major for maybe a minute, depending how long you took that fight. And that is her biggest point.
Yeah, that's it. And then I'll say one thing for the Syx boss fight. It was one of the few fights I actually died in.
Yeah, I died during it once.
Yeah. Syx, the upcoming Vanitas fight, the final fight, I think were the only 3 fights I died in.
Yeah.
So
Terra Nord and Vanitas. Yeah. I guess the cool plot point is here that the Guardian was Terra the whole time.
Yeah, that was a cute little reference. What was actually really interesting with Terranort is that Terranort is the present day Xehanort. Like, the old man is the one that's treated as the main villain, but he's actually just a time-traveling version of the past Xehanort, which brings up a million questions with the ending.
Because timeline-wise, Terranort became the scientist that worked under Ansem the Wise, died Xemnas Ansem.
Yeah, which is why Xemnas looks so young, and Ansem looks young partly because of that, but also because of Riku's influence, because Heartless aren't meant to have forms, but Ansem the Heartless does. But then, yeah, when they reformed as Terranort, which is why that Terra isn't, like, brought forward from the past. He's just there. I mean, Terra should look older, because technically, like, Aqua's been trapped in the world of darkness where time moves slower. Ventus has been in, like, a cryogenic sleep. But Terra's been active and walking around for, like, 8 years, or however long it's been between now and birthplace sleep.
We don't see the Lingering Will again.
Yeah, when Lingering Will never comes back.
That's where Terra is. That's where Terra's been. But, like, we don't see him.
Which again brings up a million other questions, because if the Heartless that Terranort had was the if the Heartless that Ansem the Heartless had, that I guess was Xehanort's spirit Heartless, even though he didn't have it before.
See, even listening to you say it sounds so stupid.
Yeah, where does the Lingering Will fit into all this? I can only assume the Lingering Will, after his fight with Terranort, sort of refused into him. And then that's what gave the Heartless version, like, more of a drive to escape.
I would assume the armor would collapse. That's my main guess. I don't even know how the Lingering Will happens. Like, the title itself is, like, it's the Lingering Will, so I'm guessing it's, like, Terra's, like, main spirit, just, like, still...
Yeah, that's what I think it was assumed to be. And then I'm guessing... when it refuses, it must off-screen refuse with Terranort, and then that gives Terra enough will that the Heartless is then him, or like the Heartless was the rest of him, and then it gives him enough will to fight back, and that's technically the end of Xehanort, because this is the present day Xehanort. So Xehanort dies, just dies by fucking Terra's hands.
So the next thing. It leads to the biggest point of this whole game, but it's so sad how bad this boss rush is. You're gonna face the 3 bosses of the last few games: Young Xehanort, Ansem, and Xemnas. They're pushovers. There's no challenge with them. These are the guys that gave you so much trouble in the past, and it's like, oh, okay, it's nothing now.
Young Xehanort is a massive wimp, and really easy to take out. And then fucking Ansem's the hardest one, but that's because he's a mage, so he just attacks from a distance.
Xemnas is close up, but you just block him and then you counter.
And you take down all 3 of them. I do like their little interaction. I mean, Young Xehanort I don't care about. But I do like Ansem and Xemnas' kind of last-minute realizations that what they really needed was friends.
No,
like, Xemnas being like, oh, I had a whole group of people and we were happy and I threw it all away. Is this my one regret?
The point of the game that pissed me off the most. I didn't care about her as a character, but the reason she was in this game was so stupid They kill Kyrie just for a plot point.
Yep.
And they literally do this just so they can have another game in the series. That is the only point for Kyrie to die. So there can be another game in the series.
I can understand why one of the protagonists has to die so that Xehanort can unlock Kingdom Hearts, and because if he dies, then there is no. I mean, they have the 13 Keyblades, but no villain who's willing to use it. So I understand why one of the protagonists has to die, and I get why it's Kyrie. What annoys me is that she should have just come back because everyone else has already died and come back to life. Like, everyone has died and come back to life. Kyrie was the only person so far who hadn't died and been revived. Now she is dead.
No, she's dead.
Just revive her. But no, by the time the game is end, she's still dead. And they're like, well, time to go. Find her. Before
we get to that, final boss... It's like one of the lowest bosses of the games. I feel like, out of all the games, I think Ansem was one of the best bosses. Ansem, Kingdom Hearts 1... The good fight. It was a fun fight. It felt the most well-rounded. It was good. And also, ending-wise, with, like, Sora with his friends, 2 had the best one, because, like, you are actually with everyone. You're united.
Yeah, like, 2 felt like an actual ending.
Like, these
to the
bosses.
Series, yeah. I don't know, I like the final, the whole, you fight every other organization member at once, but they all have a shared health bar. And that's quite... And your fight... Yeah, it's Skeleton.
You don't get to explore. You don't
get to explore it. No, I thought you would.
1 second.
Then it's a boss fight for the rest of it.
Boss.
But then you have Donald and Goofy with you, which is nice because they weren't with you for any other boss fights. And
they were with you for Ansem.
No, they're not with you for Ansem.
For
you
Ansem.
fight. No, you fight. And the ants. No, I meant in Kingdom Hearts 3. I meant specifically.
Oh, in 3. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, this whole boss rush, you haven't had them. And then the final boss of Kingdom Hearts 3, you have them, just like you did at the end of Kingdom Hearts 1. And I like Xehanort's weird devil goat armored form. I just like the stage transitions. Like, you first fight him in this weird vertical area where you're constantly jumping to him and having to get into fights with him. Then you fight him underwater, which is just a bit random.
Yeah, I didn't like underwater. Felt weird. I don't like the underwater combat in the first place.
And it's not like the underwater combat was like a massive part of... It's almost like, where was the mech fight then, if you were going to have an underwater fight as well? Why not have that?
We didn't talk about it during Pirates, but I love if you go to the magic, all of it says sea fire, sea thunder. It's all seawater. But like... Anyways, the boss just didn't feel as grand as it should have. I feel like Xemnas and Ansem felt like a lot more threatening. Xehanort,
maybe I don't know. I liked it. I liked how by the third stage everything is destroyed, but only because you have to fly. Only Sora can fight the thing, and that gets really. It actually, like, I almost died. Like, we both had 1 bit of health left, and I managed to get that final hit in to win. So it felt really tense.
The final part with the Keyblade felt nice, like the final part.
The Keyblade beam struggle.
I feel like were you forced into rage form, that's
Yeah, that part is a bit it was a nice breath though for me, because I was like, the scene when at least the first time I ran through the boss, that whole build up towards that part, I was nearly dead, and so rage form kind of saved me. But then Xehanort goes into rage form and starts firing beams from a distance, and that was just OP. But then the second time I went through it, I absolutely mopped the floor with Xehanort. Like, He was really easy after I died and figured out how he works. But I like the beam struggle at the end is funny, with sort of Donald and Goofy helping you out.
Oh, I didn't even beam struggle. I just ran away from it and won the fight.
Oh, you meant to do the struggle.
Because I didn't. The thing is, I got no command prompt for Goofy Shield or anything.
Oh, okay.
So I was like, okay, I have to run and heal. That's what I did, and I won the fight because I just didn't even mess with it. Now, ending of the game, you had Master Ericus. He was inside of Terra for some reason.
Deus Ericus Machina is what it is. He just appears. Like, this whole time you think he's been dead, he's been inside of Terra, which means I guess he must have been inside of Terranort as well. This whole time.
I feel like it's too good of an ending for Xehanort of all people.
I get Xehanort being a slightly grey character because a big theme throughout Kingdom Hearts is that darkness and isn't 100% evil and light isn't 100% good, but everyone likes to think it's that way because it's easier. And so and Xehanort being the only one who understands that light and darkness need to sort of exist and that it hasn't, so Kingdom Hearts needs to rewrite the universe and start again, is kind of I understand where they were going for, but it's just it's many.
It's such a mess.
It's a mess. And the Ericus thing feels more like an arse pull because of how much it just doesn't make sense with what we know in the plot. Like, so.
Oh yeah, it definitely makes no sense.
Because it's because like Sora. So it's like what makes it a pain is that Sora had Ventus's heart in him in Kingdom Hearts 1 and Kairi's heart in him in Kingdom Hearts 1. And so when he unlocks his heart, that's what makes the nobody Roxas, and that's why he looks like Ventus, which also I like the scene where Roxas and Ventus meet, and they both kind of look at each other and like, wait, what?
I like when Lee met Lee.
Ventus.
Ventus met Lee. It was like, hey, I remember you.
Yeah, that was nice. That whole scene where everyone's like, they're all introducing, and Lee's just like, who are all these people? What's going on? Like, everyone has relationships that I don't understand and has not been explained, and it kind of sums up the whole game.
It sums up all of Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah.
But then...
Yeah, no, my tangent, sorry, with Ericus, because I want to complain
Yeah,
more,
it's all good.
is that when so Ventus's heart is inside Sora, and that's what makes Roxas like that. But if Ericus's heart was inside of Terranort the whole time, when Terranort became a heartless and a nobody, why didn't one of them look like Ericus? Why didn't Ericus also, his heart, come out and become a heartless or a nobody? In the same way that Ventus's did to make Roxas. Like, where was Ericus this entire time? Was he just inside Zenmus? But then Zenmus would have had a heart, so that doesn't make sense. Or was there just an Ericus heartless running around that no one was actually aware of, that we just... No, because if we'd killed him, if you'd killed him, then he would have gone to heaven because his body was gone. So he just had to be a heartless that Sora just avoided killing, and then at one point later refused with Xehanort, Terranort.
I don't get it, dude.
And unless I've just thought of something. What if Lingering Will was Ericus the entire time? And so the heartless that Terranort had was Terra. Lingering Will was Ericus, and then they refused. That might explain everything that doesn't make sense with fucking Terranort.
It's such it's Kingdom Hearts. You can't argue the story anymore. It's just how it is. There's no way to work around it.
Yeah, but okay, Xehanort and Ericus go off to heaven together. Even though old man Xehanort was from the past, so he should be now going back in time to the past. So that he can die with Terranort.
So before talking about the ending, how do you rate the Keyblade Graveyard?
Oh, it's fucking awful stage. I hate it. It's like a 2. Like, all the beginning stuff, all the story stuff is terrible. The boss fights are fine. Like, the boss fights are pretty cool, but it's just a boss rush and everything. And the Heartless fight is pretty cool, but the world is really nothing at all. And all the story stuff that happens prior to the boss rush is awful and contrived and doesn't make sense. You're supposed to feel
stuff for the characters. You're supposed to feel that, whoa, they're finally reunited. My feels. It's like,
yeah.
You kind of care for the first second, but it's like, never mind.
Yeah. I like that Axel is now happy, finally, with Roxas and Shion back.
So, you're giving it a 2 out of 10?
Yeah, no, I don't like the Keyblade. I like the bosses. It's weird. I like the bosses, but that opening to the Keyblade Graveyard, everything that builds up to the Keyblade Graveyard, the Lich fight, is just so contrived and poorly done and frustrates me more than anything else in this game that I can't give the Keyblade Graveyard a good score.
That's the thing. The beginning of, the worlds, I know we gave it some real, rough pushes, but, some of this game was really good. The worlds were fun, but then we get to the final world. It's more than half of the bosses in this game, and it's such a mess. I'm similar. I'm giving a 3 out of 10. I'm giving a bit more because I feel like story being rounded off at least after so many years. while adding more plots, it at least closes up the ones that were started early on.
Yeah, I suppose. I can't get over that beginning part. It just aggravates me.
Before special ending and other ending, we end up on Destiny Islands. I saw a post about people joking, since Hay never pens in a letter there. People are joking about them being the next Keyblade wielders, and I keep on laughing at it. It's like, oh no.
The next game starts with Starzolet Penson thingy. That'd be fun.
You even see Riku look over where Kairi and Sora always sat. Yeah. See, the weird thing is you see like Sora fade out, and then Kairi's still there. She never fades out, but like we know she's dead.
But I mean, no. But this is the big issue with the ending. So I mean, just going through it in order. The tease at the end, Sora's like, I got to go find Kairi, bring her back to life. Next game thing, I have to do it alone. And then I like seeing Mickey reunite with Minnie and all that. I like seeing Sykes be their friend. I guess his name is Issa now. And I like seeing finally Shion, Issa, and Lee in normal clothes.
Yeah,
and not fucking organization cloaks. That was really nice. And then all of them actually like hanging out now on Destiny Island was a cool thing. But here's the problem. To bring Namine back, they have to have Kairi. Because Namine is inside of Kairi. They don't. So presumably, at some point during this ending, Sora did rescue Kairi.
But it doesn't make sense.
Like, I mean, what I've seen a lot of people theorize is that Sora did rescue Kairi, and then they brought Namine back. And the scene we're seeing with them all on Destiny Island is after this. But Sora himself, in order to bring Kairi back, is now gone. From whatever's happened in the last one.
I'm sorry. That's just... I think Kairi's still dead. That's what makes the most sense.
But
she shouldn't be on that island.
It doesn't make sense because then Namine shouldn't be there, and
I
Sora,
know.
like, but she's so something happens between Mickey, Donald, and Goofy going back to their fucking castle, and then Riku picking everyone up with the gummy. I mean, we've seen shit like this happen before, like the ending to Kingdom Hearts 2. Takes place after Recoded, but Recoded takes place after the final boss of Kingdom Hearts 2. So it's like a mid-quill game in between the ending scene of Kingdom Hearts 2. So potentially, whatever the next game is that brings Kairi back and keeps Sora away is set between... is set during the ending scene.
The craziest thing... is hearing people say, when's Kingdom Hearts 4? It is so weird to hear that. Because 13 years hearing, where's Kingdom Hearts 3? And now we're starting up, where's Kingdom Hearts 4? I hate it. I hate it so much.
Well, we all know that Kingdom Hearts 4 isn't the next one coming. It's going to be, I don't know, Kingdom Hearts Reconnect, and it's going to be on the Switch, and it's going to be some...
You're right.
But, like, I guess, yeah, that's the ending, and then you get...
Master of Masters stuff first.
Yeah, let's... do you want to give an overall, because this is all, like, set up for the next game, do you want to give an overall story?
Overall, I'm saying game-wise, overall game.
Mm-hmm.
Story, gameplay, all that. It's not a bad game. It's not awful. Definitely the ending is worse than anything else in this game. I feel it does pull it back a lot. I would say a 7 out of 10.
7 out of 10. Okay, that seems fair. I think 7 out of 10. It's a. I like that it does wrap up the story stuff it was meant to do, even though Sora was also apparently, according to Nomura years ago, but Nomura changes his mind a lot, was meant to save Data Sora and Data Namine as well, but then doesn't in this game. But I can forgive that for already there being too much bullshit to have to deal with.
That was supposed to happen?
Yeah, he said that Sora would rescue everybody. All the organization members would be rescued by the end of it. Roxas would come back, Shion would, Data Sora, Riku Replica, Data Namine, regular Namine. Sora would rescue everyone by the end of Kingdom Hearts 3, and he kind of does, but he doesn't rescue the Data characters, which, cool. I don't care. I don't really care. But, yeah, it's just like my biggest problem with this story is how disconnected Sora is from everything that happens. Like,
while Sora in all previous games, even if the Disney worlds didn't mean something, at least he would run into Maleficent or an organization member or Riku or Ansem or someone in those worlds that would slowly progress it along, or a Final Fantasy character. In this game, it's Sora goes to a world and does something that doesn't matter. Then we get other characters off-screen solve every issue. Then Sora goes to next world. Then the next character does something off-screen and solves the issue. And it just continues like this up until Sora has done every Disney world. And then he rejoins the main plot and saves Aqua. And then after that, Sora is involved in everything, but everything after that is so... Everything after they reach the Keyblade graveyard is so rushed, which I can only assume was for time or money's sake, that it just... Everything speeds up, nothing makes sense, some stuff comes out of nowhere, some stuff is super contrived, and it just bogs down everything. I like that what they wrapped up. I don't like that they set up new stuff for a new story. I don't like how disconnected Sora feels from everything that's happening. Mm-hmm. So actually, now that I've talked about it, I'm going to bring it back down, the story back down to like a 5 out of 10. It manages to get everything it needed to do done, but it just adds too much bullshit, and Sora doesn't. Sora, and by association, the player, doesn't feel like they're impacting anything in this story.
What was your rating? You cut out on my side, at least.
Oh, sorry. I've moved it down from a 7 to a 5. 5 for the story, because...
Alright.
Yeah, it's. I like that everything gets wrapped up, but Sora's so disconnected. Overall on the game...
That was my score. If I was rating story, trust me, I would be with you at a 5.
Yeah, alright. Overall game, yeah, 7... seems fine. Like, I like the gameplay, I like the presentation, I like the music, I do like what bits of the story, and I think the Disney worlds are really, with the exception of like Tangled and Frozen, I think all the Disney worlds are pretty fun in this game. And I quite like it. And the voice acting's better in this, at least for the Disney characters. The voice acting is better. I'm questionable about some of the delivery of the Kingdom Hearts original characters. But yeah, I still enjoyed it. I was looking forward to Kingdom Hearts 3 and having the story wrap up, and I had every character got a happy ending. So except for Kairi, I guess.
I guess the only thing that's really left is ending and then secret ending. Ending, only thing that really goes over is all the foretellers are there except for Ava, and Luxu's there.
And Luxu's like, revealed to be Xigbar, yeah.
Xigbar, he's body swapping or whatever.
Yeah, and that's the main thing. He's got the box, and now I guess he has Xehanort's Keyblade back. And I guess it kind of justifies why Xigbar's been following him that whole time, because he was meant to look after the Keyblade, and then Xehanort, like the Master of Masters Keyblade, no name. And then Xehanort stole it. And so Xigbar sort of tailing Xehanort, keeping an eye on Xehanort, is like him, you know, fulfilling his role, keeping an eye on the Keyblade. And then he gets it back at the end, just like he said he would. And so, and then brings back the four, I guess, the spirits of those four foretellers.
I don't know, dude. I don't know if they're alive or not at this point.
I mean, it seems to be implied that he brought them back from the dead somehow, as opposed to time travel.
Someone killed their nobody, and someone killed their heartless. They're alive again.
They didn't have nobodies and heartlesses.
They do now. Like...
But yeah, I mean that I'm fine with the Kingdom Hearts key stuff being set up for the next like main storyline in Kingdom Hearts.
Well, there's so much thrown in at this time.
Yeah, I almost wish that he hadn't done Kingdom Hearts key and Union Cross and back cover before Kingdom Hearts 3, because I don't feel like any of it is necessary in this story.
I think the only real thing is to connect Ven, but even then,
Ven's
like so late in the whole story.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Ven's role being one of the previous Keyblade generation doesn't actually matter at all in this story. Well, so that could have been a good have been a good revelation for the next series of stuff, because we still didn't know what Ven's past is and all stuff like that. But like they just dropped references to Kingdom Hearts Key in this game. but then never actually went anywhere with it in this game. And the box is obviously the big example. We talked about Maleficent and Pete ages ago, and they show up briefly in the epilogue to look over the Luxu talking to the other foretellers. I guess they found the box, but they're not going to go over and try and steal it.
The worst thing is, we're probably still going to have Sora for the story, because with that secret ending, it shows Sora is still pretty relevant.
Well,
and
yeah, well, I mean, Nomura said that every main numbered Kingdom Hearts game would star Sora. So,
yeah.
And I mean, some of the spin-offs like Chain of Memories and Dream Drop Distance star Sora, yeah. And that's what I'm assuming this next game is. It's not going to be Kingdom Hearts 4, because Kingdom Hearts numbered games are Sora, Donald, and Goofy always. So if Donald and Goofy aren't there, this is going to be like... I'm just going to call it Kingdom Hearts Reconnect for now, because the secret movie ends with the words Reconnect Kingdom Hearts.
Well, that's like any Kingdom Hearts trailer. They always say Reconnect.
Yeah, I'm going to call it that until we get whatever bullshit name Yeah, the world ends with Kingdom Hearts.
Random Mod Podge of numbers, and then HD thrown on, and then some alliteration.
Yeah.
And which also turns out to be a metaphor. Anyways. So Riku, a little secret ending. Riku's in Virum Rex, and then Sora's in World Ends With You. Shibuya.
Yeah. Or they're just both Japan, and that's just like how Nomura likes to design. No, I know, because I know why. I know that Yozora shows up, and I know the government building that. It's the Japan government building is also the same building that's in Verum Rex, which is also the same building that was in Versus 13 and Final Fantasy 15. Yeah, because that's the basis. And I know it's Shibuya 104 in the Shibuya Crossing that Sora shows up.
World Ends With You one.
Yeah, but like my only I guess pullback of saying it's on the World Ends With You world is that they can't use Shibuya 109. That's why every game always changes it. Like Tokyo Mirage Sessions calls it Shibuya 106. And it's the reason the World Ends With You called it Shibuya 104. So it could just be Nomura's little flair for how he gets around that. He just always calls the Shibuya building 104 in his games. The only issue is the World Ends With You is the only game we've seen it in, so that's my only hesitation.
The styling of the numbers is also the same as the one in World Ends With You.
But that could just be Nomura's way of styling it. I mean, that is the only reason I'm hesitant to do it, just because we've never been to a Square Enix game world. We've had original worlds, but all the Final Fantasy characters are always in those original worlds.
So you're not questioning the one-time trailer that was in a Toy Story world, but you're questioning the
I mean, the Verum... It might just be that they're both in the Verum Rex world, and that's how, like... That's just how it is. Like, it could be that this is Verum Rex land, because it's be an original stage then, as opposed to it being the World Ends With You land. Although I'd much prefer it to be that. I personally like to think this is Nomura's realised the secret to making every game he ever wants to make. He just has to make it a part of the Kingdom Hearts series. And so they won't highlight the World Ends With You 2. But the next Kingdom Hearts game could just be The World Ends With You 2.
It is.
And directly follows from fucking The World Ends With You Final Mix. And they're now part of the same universe.
And then the last thing we see is Luxu making a little heart in front of the moon.
We don't know if it's Luxu or if it's the Master of Masters, because he doesn't take the hood off.
It's either or.
It's either or.
Irreversible at this point.
I mean, people think it's the Master just because the hooded figures usually want... Now that it's revealed to be Xigbar, there's no reason to keep it hidden. But then... Yeah. It could just be a new character, considering Roxas, when he first showed up, was also hooded.
What if it's like another replica, dude?
It could be another replica. It could... There's what so many...
Demyx is actually like the Master of Masters, and he's being...
It would make Demyx relevant, because he's kind of like the only... organization member that's still fairly unexplained. He's the only one who doesn't have a Vexen doesn't have a boss fight, but he's at least explained. Demyx is just
tried to explain Demyx, but even Demyx says, I don't know why I'm here.
Demyx is lumped in with the other three as being from Kingdom Hearts Union Cross. We just haven't, just like how we haven't seen Luxord, we haven't seen Demyx yet in that game. But he's implied to be from that generation, but then he gets benched, so then he does just fuck all. For the rest of the story, he gives them a replica that they can turn into Roxas, and then just leaves, I guess, and is still a nobody, and is just walking around, and all the other nobodies are dead, but Demyx is still around. It's just like, why?
All in all, that's what Kingdom Hearts 3 is.
Yeah.
It's the main little round off. We talked positive about that gameplay, but story.
Yeah, story's a mess.
It's always the brain down for this series.
I like the convoluted storylines, and I enjoyed the storyline up to 3, but 3 just does so much bullshit to justify. Yeah, it lands. It set up loads of plot points and then face planted the landing to solving every single one of them, and it's just not fun. It's just not good. I like that everything is resolved, but it was resolved in the easiest, least interesting way possible. And Kairi still does fuck all.
She was relevant for a fight at least, dude, and then she died.
She's technically the reason Sora still survived after Thingy, because she somehow managed to survive.
Okay, she was relevant
off
for
screen.
2 points. I'll give her that.
And that was it. That was all of it. So, that was a long discussion.
Yeah.
For sure.
Oh, Kingdom Hearts.
Thank you, Hero, for joining me for all of this.
A discussion just as convoluted as the series.
Do you want to let everyone listening know where they can find you at?
If you want, I only do stuff on Twitter at this point. You can find me at RealHeroWins. Needs some kind of name change at some point, but for now we're going to go under that alias.
It's alright, you can become a nobody and add an X somewhere into it and make it really long.
Good idea. I'll become one of those 2009 usernames, XXRealHeroWins.
Excellent. And right, and you all know where to find me. I want to give a special thank you to the Duke of Dorks, and he's always great. All the patrons will be on screen now. Hit that like and subscribe. I hope you enjoyed this ridiculously long discussion, and always remember to return to the source.